Okay, guys, shall we start? Anyway,
Yes, sir.
video will be recorded, so it's not this. Okay. So I'll ask some simple questions. Yesterday you were there, so I'll ask. Okay, who are the first people to be on England? Who are the original
Celtic people.
Celtic people.
Celtic? After Celtic people, who came?
Romans, sir.
After Romans?
Northern
Anglo-Saxon
Germanic
people.
Anglo-Saxon.
Okay. Till that you are very clear, right? So what happens is now comes the proper people, that is Northern Germanic people are basically the Anglo-Saxons. There are 4 people coming in. Anglos, okay. So and one more thing, yesterday we saw these are they brought Christianity. Okay, Anglo-Saxons brought Christianity. They had class like they started with Earl, freemen, thanes, and lowest levels. So this is like the highest level, the second level, third level, fourth level. So till there, I think it will be clear. Okay, now we'll start with the rest of it. Okay, so Anglo-Saxons, who are they? So they are basically they refer to 4 Germanic tribes. Remember, okay, their question only they will ask with languages also, history of English language also. This is very important. Okay, Anglo-Saxon doesn't mean only Angles and Saxons. They also mean all the 4 Germanic tribes. So basically, English is what, a Germanic language or some other language? It's a Germanic language. Okay, so remember that. So there will be 4 tribes. There's the Angles, the Saxons, the Jutes, and Frisians. Okay, so remember these 4. But these 2 were small. They are not much needed for us. But the Angles and Saxons, we need to be aware of them. Okay, they are the most powerful people who came to Britain, and they actually what happened was some Angles claimed areas in east, Saxons settled in south. So Angles settled in east, whereas Saxons settled in south, whereas Jutes in south, and Frisians somewhere in the dispersed past. But important there were only 2 people, that is the Angles and Saxons. So till now you're clear, right? So first Celts were there, then the Romans come in, and then the tribes come in. That's these people. That is the Germanic tribes. That is Angles, Saxons, Jutes, and also the Frisians. But only 2 predominant tribes were they took over the entire British naval land. They are who? Who are these people? Who are the 2 tribes people? Guys?
So can you repeat again, sir?
Yeah, there are 4 tribes, no? Angles,
Yes, sir.
Saxons, Jutes, and thing. Who are the most important tribes who settled in England?
Angles and Saxons.
Yeah, Angles and Saxons. Okay, so that's why mostly it's Anglo-Indians, Anglo-English. So that came into play. So Anglo-Saxons were the 2 tribes there. And now remember, this point is very important. Old English became Middle English somewhere around 1100 AD. After death, 1100 AD, Old English became Middle English. Okay, and Middle English became Modern English around 1500. So you see the thing 500 AD, it's probably all Old English. In 1100, it became Middle English, and obviously 1500 onwards, it became Modern English. Okay, now can you guess? This is what's very important. உங்களுக்கு எல்லாமே தெரிஞ்சிருக்கலாம், but guess பண்ண தெரியணும் நிறையா. Now it's just basic common sense. Okay, usually history of English literature starts from 1400 onwards. So we understand something there, right? Chaucer comes in 1400 odd years. So what kind of language do you think he used? Was it Old English or Middle English or New English? I mean modern English. What do you think he used?
Middle English.
Yeah,
Middle
modern
English.
English. Modern English. Okay. All because the writing style might be difficult for us, and it has a lot of old words, archaic words. Now, that doesn't mean it's Old English now, right? The idea is Old English was there when all these Celts, Angles, and Saxons were there. Then the Middle English saw some kind of transformation, and finally we come to the modern English. Why is because Britain was using other languages a lot. They thought this is what a tribal language, but suddenly it came into like a full-fledged language. So that's very, very important. Okay. So the Anglo-Saxons pushed the natives to the periphery regions such as Cornwall, Wales, Ireland, Scotland. So who are all the natives then? இதுக்கு முன்னாடி இங்கிலாந்துல யாரெல்லாம் இருந்தா? Who are the people there?
Britons, Romans.
Britons, Romans. Then I mean, there were many tribes, right? The Celts, what happened to the Celts? Celts also were moved to the periphery. They were moved to Wales and Scots. Okay, this is one of the reason Britain has a lot of accents also. Their language in Britain itself, there will be a lot of inflections on language. If you go to Scotland, if you get to Ireland, their slang is totally different, right? They don't talk like proper Englishmen. Their slang is different. It's because of this. These people kept moving away. Just like our Tamil, like in Coimbatore, we have kind of different thing. In Chennai, we have the same thing happened there. And as well as the tribes, some of them had more French to them and some of them did not. So they kept moving. So predominantly at the end, who stayed in Britain? Who stayed? The
Anglo-Saxons.
I remember that. So Chaucer, Old English, Middle English, or Modern English? Which do you think he wrote?
Old English.
Really? You have to guess. Old English means, was Chaucer living in year 1100?
He wrote Middle English. 1400.
Yeah, he wrote. But see, this is what you have to be clear. When you talk about modern English, it's from our understanding that is not modern. Like 1500 onwards itself was modern only, because it comes to the kind of a proper form. Okay, that we will see as we see Chaucer and stuff. Okay, now comes the literary works. Okay, if you have to understand this. Okay, quickly we have to learn a lot of works, authors, years. So that's the easiest way to remember it, and I will teach you some tricks. Okay, so no problem. So till now you will be clear with that, I suppose. Now important works, these are all assorted works. They don't have like a proper framework, whether poetry or whether it's epic and all. You have to know these. Okay, so Cadaman is a shepherd, the earliest known English poet who wrote Cadaman's hymn. Okay, so remember this work. So first work is Cadaman, a shepherd. It is one of the most earliest English poets who wrote this. Okay, most of the works we will not have authors or poets because it's unknown, right? We don't know. Then Venerable Bede, he's called the father of English history. Remember all these, okay? So wrote the ecclesiastical history of English people. So remember this, Venerable Bede. So know this, and then Sinwolf, like Beowulf, Sinewolf, The Ascension, The Legend of Saint Julian, Ellen, Fate of Apostles. These are all written by Auclian of York, poet, clergyman, wrote life of this thing. Okay, so remember these works one by one. So Cadaman, Venerable Bede, and Sinwolf. So all these three you remember, some important literary personalities during that time. Okay, so who are the three people?
Cadaman.
Yeah.
Bede.
Bede.
Sinewolf.
Sinwolf. Very good. So these three people, remember them. They are important literary personalities. They are literary personalities, not authors. Remember, because we don't know, they're autonomous. Okay. Now, okay. What do you think Anglo-Saxon poetry was like? Do you think they were like perfect? What do you think? Any idea? Okay, how many of you seen Pirates of Caribbean movie? Anyone seen Pirates of Caribbean?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
No.
No, sir.
Okay, yeah, you know about pirates, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, pirates. What do pirates do? What do they do? Kadal kollakaranga means what they'll do. What they'll do, guys? I mean, if Prabha, she's going on a ship.
Sir.
Yeah? Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
They'll steal, sir.
Yeah, they'll steal, right? So nothing is that. But all these pirates, they used to have, even in Indian literature, all these things. No, all these pirates used to have their own songs. They'll sing songs and all that, right? So where did these things all come from? It just came from that time, right? So those, already alliterations, repetition. In the sea, you have all kinds of alliterations like Sally sells seashells by the seashore. All these songs, which we now use as tongue twisters, but they used it for poetic effects. While they were riding and all, they used to do this. So alliterations were a thing. And seashore, it's a pause in the line, like in poetry, right? And kenning, I really like kennings. Kennings are, it's basically a metaphor, but in a bigger sense. See, instead of telling sea, they'll say whale road. Okay, interesting, right? Instead of seeing the sea, representing the sea, they'll say it will be the whale road, or hoard, breast hoard, which represents heart. Okay, so can you connect why it's called the whale road? Why it's whale
No,
road? Yeah, அதுல இருந்து என்ன தெரியுது? Like it represents the sea, but yeah, whale road and whale என்னது?
kind of fish.
Yeah, it's a fish and it's a road. That means
Way of fish.
yeah, you understand, right? Okay, in those days, instead of telling sea, I mean, they will say it's the whale road. So it's basically the road of the whale, right? And instead of telling heart, they will say breastbone. So all the thoughts are inside. So that's called kenning. So alliteration, caesure, kenning, and orality. Orality, basically, they are all singing songs, so people could understand. Usually, it was all oral tradition. And the time, I don't think they had papers and stuff to write a lot of things. Only when Gutenberg came, that had a proper format. They might have used tablets and all that, but mostly it was all oral. See, did Homer write, or did he tell it orally and go? What happened? என்ன பண்ணிருப்பான்னு நினைக்கிறீங்க? Of course, he didn't write it, right? So he spoke, someone memorized it, they spoke to others, memorized it. That's the thing that finally, when Alexander the Great, he memorized the entire Iliad. So all this information you should know, okay? Background information. ஏன்னா கிளாஸ்ல இது மட்டும் சொன்னா புரியாது. You have to know a lot of background information, because just reading this is not enough. Okay, so these are the characteristics of Anglo-Saxon poetry. We have alliteration, caesure. Caesure is pause basically in a line, just break it and come. And kenning, it's a silent device, and orality. So remember, ACKO. So what are the characteristics of Anglo-Saxon poetry, people?
Alliteration.
Very good.
Caesura.
Hmm.
Orality.
Kenning, orality.
Kenning and orality. What do you think Homer did? Did Homer write or was it orally copied?
Orally copied, sir.
Yes, orally copied. So remember all these things. So what did Homer compose? What are the two works, people? Any idea? Okay. Remember them, okay?
The
Iliad
Iliad
and
and the Odyssey.
Odyssey.
Iliad and Odyssey.
Yes. Very good, very good. Iliad and Odyssey. Okay. So as we go on, just try to connect all things. Okay. So till now it's clear, right? Any doubts?
Yes,
Shall
sir.
we go to the next one?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, guys, let's talk about Anglo-Saxon works. So they are, I mean, divided into three categories. Pretty simple. That's pagan poetry, elegiac poetry, and Christian poetry. Okay. Now here, pagan means old religions. That's all. Anything not Christianity was called as pagan religion. If they were worshipping stones, if they were worshipping trees, nature, they were all considered as pagan religion. So in those days, obviously, they had pagan poetry, then elegiac poetry, and Christian poetry. So what are the three types of Anglo-Saxon works?
Pagan poetry,
Pagan,
elegiac,
elegiac, and
Christian
Christian.
poetry.
Okay. So obviously, pagan poetry, the first will come, the epic, Beowulf. Beowulf we will see in detail, so just know it's one of the great epics. But who wrote it? Any idea?
Chaucer.
Really? See, this is what this is how you should guess, right? Beowulf, which year it was? Chaucer was born only in 1300s, but Beowulf came like way back, right? So obviously it was not Chaucer. Do you think they had any proof who wrote it? No, it's anonymous. We
No
don't
proof.
know. Yeah, we don't know who wrote it, right? We don't know the author who wrote it. It's there. But you should know who translated it in the modern times. Okay, and his name is one of my favorite poets. He's called Seamus Heaney. Okay, Seamus, Seamus Heaney. Write it down and keep. You'll forget these things. Seamus Heaney. Have you heard about him? He
No,
translated
sir.
Beowulf. Okay, remember Seamus Heaney is a very important poet. He won Nobel
Once
Prize.
again spelling. Once again spelling. Ka.
Seamus Heaney. He translated Beowulf. Okay, Seamus Heaney won Nobel Prize. He's not technically British, but he's Irish. But when he won Nobel Prize, they gave him as a British poet. His famous poet is Death of the Naturalist. So these are the things you should know, okay, to connect the stuff. You'll know Beowulf, but you won't know what happened in modern times. So yaar vandu translate panna? Modern times?
Seamus Henry.
Seamus Heaney.
Henry.
Okay, Seamus Heaney. What did he write?
Translated the work Beowulf.
Yeah. But his own work, Death of a Naturalist, very famous book, poetry book. Okay, Death of a Naturalist, and he won Nobel Prize. Remember, very important. He's a very important poet. Okay, Seamus Heaney won Nobel Prize. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, he won. Okay, but was he happy being called a British writer or Irish writer? He did not like being called a English writer. He wanted to be called as a Irish. Okay, remember that. So Seamus Heaney translated Beowulf. So Beowulf's story I will cover it separately, because if I teach you Beowulf, then you will know Lord of the Rings, you'll know Narnia, and all those epic fantasies are connected to that. Okay, so you need to know that one. So clear? Shall we go to the next one?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what are the three kinds of poetry? Elegiac.
Pagan poetry, elegiac poetry, Christian poetry.
Yeah. Next one in elegiac and wisdom poetry. Remember these works. These are all, we don't know the writers, but remember the ruin, write it down, okay? Wanderer, seafarer, laser poetess. Okay, the spellings will be different because they are all written in the old English style. So their spellings will be different. They're not wrong. That's how they were written those days. So it's the ruin, wanderer, seafarer, laser poetess. So pagan poetry na edu nav karnu immediate what should come? Pagan poetry means which example we should give?
Beowulf.
Yeah, Beowulf. Okay, now it's easy for us. Okay, in the time do you think there was something called novel? Do you think there was something called drama or short story during this time?
No, sir.
No, that's what you have to understand. This time there was only poetry. Okay, so you don't need to worry whether we had dramas or something. Only poetry we had. So everything will be poetry that time. So in elegiac and wisdom poetry, you have works like the Ruin, Wanderer, Seafarer, Lays of Boethius. Okay, from these works and all, you can understand something, no? These people were all near the sea. It's just an island. Britain is basically an island. These people can mostly write about the sea, traveling, Vikings, fighting, war, all this stuff only they'll write about. That's why their works are like this. Okay, understand? And then we have the last one. What kind of poetry they had? Pagan, elegiac, and the last one is
Christian poetry.
poetry. Okay, now Christian poetry came because Romans started coming there and they got converted, and the Anglo-Saxons came, and obviously Anglo-Saxon accepted Christianity, so it became a Christian country. Okay, so now what happens is they started moving to Christian poetry. So these are some of the works. We don't know the authors. Lives of Saints, the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, the Battle of Brunanburg, and Battle of Malden. Okay, remember these works. Lives of Saints, Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, the Battle of Malden. So we have three. We have poetry style means alliteration. We have what other tools did they use? Caesura, then two more, no? And then we have three things: pagan, elegiac, and Christian poetry. Okay. So these are the other works, and by that, this introduction to old English is over. So in addition to these works, we have Wanderer. I already said mostly they will be writing about wandering in the sea because they are like that, right? They have ships and stuff. So Dream of the Rood. So this poem tells about the story of crucifixion of Jesus. So we can see pagan, we can see Christian, as well as the Battle of Maldon. This is a poem that tells the story between Saxons and Vikings in 1991 AD. It's a historical poetry. So these are all extra poetries during this time. Okay. So this will be the last slide, and Beowulf, I will handle that separately, but remember it comes under pagan poetry. So what are the last works?
The Wanderer,
Okay.
the Dream of Road,
Road and
the Battle of Malden.
Very good. So this we have seen. We have pagan poetry, elegiac poetry, Christian poetry, and pagan poetry. We have seen famous work called Beowulf.
Beowulf.
Christian poetry, we have Lives of Saints, Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, and Battle of Maldon. And then we have seen the wisdom poetry or elegiac poetry as the Ruin, Wanderer, Seafarer, and Lays of Boethius. Okay. And they use alliteration in their poetry, kenning, caesure, and orality was their main aspects. And we have seen 4 literary personalities. Okay. Cardamon, Venerable BD, Steinwolf, all these people we have seen. Okay. So clear with these things, right? Any doubts?
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Just a quick revision. I'll just ask quick questions. Just try to answer them. Okay. So first Britain la yarunda?
Celtic people.
Very good. Then who came?
Romans.
Very good. Very good. One second. I'll just move. Okay. Now I can easily just. Write some stuff. Okay. So first, Britain was a island. Okay. First comes the Celtic people, and after Celtic people, the Romans come, and after the Romans come, who came?
Northern Germany.
Yeah.
Anglo-Saxon.
The Anglo-Saxons. That means who and all? Anglo-Saxons means like there are 4 people there, right? Angles,
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Saxons,
Saxons.
Jutes,
Jutes.
and
Presence.
yeah. But who are the 2 predominant groups?
Anglos and Saxons.
Saxons. Okay. Okay. Now we are getting to the works. Yeah. Enna works obviously there could be only poetry at this time, right? So what are the 3 kinds of poetry that they were usually gave out in this age? What are the 3 kinds?
Pagan poetry.
Yeah,
Elegiac
pagan,
poetry.
elegiac, and
Christian
Christian
poetry.
poetry. Okay, pagan very good example,
Beowulf.
Beowulf. But who translated in modern times?
Seamus Henry.
Same as Heaney.
Seamus Henry.
Yeah, okay, Henny. Okay, but what did he win Nobel Prize? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. For
Yes,
which
sir.
work? Death of a Naturalist. Remember that.
Yes.
Okay. And then give me 2 examples from Christian poetry.
Lives of Saints, the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, the Battle of Maldon.
Okay, very good. The same way, give me 2 examples for elegiac poetry.
The Rhine, the Wanderer.
Okay, the Rhone and Wanderer.
Wanderer.
So clear with these things, right? Any doubts?
Yes, sir. No, sir.
No, sir.
So Old
No,
and
sir.
Middle English, clear. So we will tomorrow onwards. I mean, not tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll not have. Okay, Wednesdays we don't have, but on Thursday we will have. Just go through these things and come. And on Thursday we will have. We will start with easy stuff. This is from your syllabus. That is, we'll start with Age of Chaucer. Okay. Is that fine, guys?
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay, then. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Ronald, today one of our faculty, a new faculty, Shivashakti, has joined today,
Oh, okay, ma'am. Fine, ma'am. No issues, ma'am.
and a few more will be joining, I think so.
Okay, ma'am.
Today half a day was in meeting and half a day we are busy in NAC work. Tomorrow I'll talk to them once again. I'll let you know.
Okay, ma'am. No issues, ma'am.
Oh.
You are busy today.
Shakti?
Hello,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes. Shakti, did you speak with Rachel and others whether they'll join or not?
Ma'am, I don't know about it, ma'am.
Okay,
I
you
have to
haven't
ask.
discussed
I
it.
can tell you.
You haven't discussed it in the department, right?
Yes, ma'am, I haven't. I'll ask with them and I'll tell them to join.
Yeah. Tomorrow I'll also talk to them. Okay.
Even today, I've joined lately only, ma'am.
Today?
No
Yeah,
problem.
Even
because
today I
sir,
joined
I'll
lately.
put the videos.
because
No
of me only sir has sent the link earlier, Kanna, but I was busy in some other call. Okay.
Okay,
Actually,
ma'am.
sir asked Prabha to call me, right, Ronald?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, your sir asked to call me, but she was calling me. I was I was in an important call. Then after that only I
Okay,
came to know. At least I would have shared the link to you. Because of me only delayed. No worries, sir will give the revision to you. Okay.
Ma'am, I'll post the
okay,
video,
ma'am.
ma'am. Ask them to join
Yeah,
the.
sir will be posting the video. Whoever is even tomorrow, day after tomorrow, whoever will be joining, they can see the video.